Okay, once again, good morning to everybody. And today we shall be discussing another unit in our subject in teaching profession. And this is on the foundational principles of morality. Now, why do we need to study the foundational principles of morality? Or in shorter terms, why do we need to study morality? Okay, we are not philosophy majors, or we are not taking a course in philosophy, but we are taking a course in education. So why is there a need for teachers, okay, like you who want to be teachers, okay, earning units, okay, to study morality or the foundational principles of morality? You know, sabi ko nung una pa lang, Unit 1 natin on teaching as a mission, profession, and education, there are so much expectations from the society that is put upon teachers, okay? We have a very high social regard in terms of, how we behave in the society, how we act in the community. And that's why it's important that we know what morality is, okay? Because at many points in our work, okay, our morality as teachers is questioned, okay? There are many instances that teachers has experienced or have experienced dilemma in their career or problems in their career because of their actions, because of their behavior, which allegedly is not conforming to a certain moral standard. Okay, so that's why we have to be very careful about it. So this lesson is actually very important for us teachers because it will remind us that teachers carry a special role, okay, as models to the students. Okay, they carry a very special role as models to the students. And when we have that strong and sustainable and reliable moral, okay, then we can never go wrong. Okay, so we have to think about that. So what is morality anyway? Okay, when we talk about morality, it refers to the quality of human acts by which we call them right or wrong, good or evil. Okay, I repeat, it's the quality of human acts by which we call them right or wrong, good or evil. Okay, furthermore, it is contrary, okay, to man's nature. Okay, when man and woman do, okay, by the way, before that, no, when we talk about this, okay, it's simply uh, any action that is against the nature of man is not moral. Okay, any action that is against the nature of man is not moral. For example, is it the nature of man to steal? Okay, is he stealing an action that is natural of man to do? Of course not, right? So stealing is not moral. Okay, so anything that is not, okay, not or any action, okay, that is against the nature of man is not moral. All right, so anything that's what we mean by morality. Okay, it's a quality of human acts, and we categorize those that are against the nature of man as wrong or as evil actions. So, for example, it is contrary to man's nature when man and woman do as dogs do. Okay, so we don't go down to the level of the beast. Okay, this is not best, this is beast. Okay, we don't go down to the level of the beast or to the level of animals. For example, when you live in the province, okay, you will see dogs mating on the streets. Okay, and you cannot expect that man should do that because we are gifted with intellect and free choice or free will, right? We are gifted with intellect and free will. We are a rational human being. We are an embodied spirit. So by saying we are an embodied spirit, we are gifted with intellect. Okay, we are gifted also with our appetitive faculties that includes free will. Okay, so you have the ability to think, you have the ability to reason out, you have the ability to evaluate or judge situations, to make decisions, and at the same time you are given a freedom or a certain extent of freedom to choose. Okay, you have free will, okay, to make informed decisions. And those animals, okay, other forms of animals like dogs and cats or any other form of animal does not have that embodied spirit. Okay, they do not have that embodied spirit. So they don't know what is right. They don't know what is wrong. They don't know what is good. They don't know what is evil. So for instance, for this example, you don't expect for a man or a woman or any man or woman to mate in public. Okay, to have to mate in public, which the dogs actually do. So we don't go down to that level of the beast. So that's what I'm trying to explain when I said that it's any act that is against the nature of man is evil or it is not good. Okay. So what about the foundational moral principle? So when we say that morality is knowing what is good and knowing what is right, but the question there is what is good and what is right? I mean, what is good and what is evil? Okay, what is wrong and what is bad? When do our actions become wrong, or when do our actions become bad? So the source of morality, okay, I repeat that the source of morality is the foundational moral principle. Okay, from the word principle. Okay, principle, okay, comes from the Latin word princeps. Okay, it came from the Latin word princeps, which means a beginning or a source. So kung ang subject nyo sa akin ay principles of teaching, okay, pag sinabi nating principles of teaching, we explain, we go back to the etymology of the word principle. And it came from the Latin word called princeps, and it means a beginning or a source. So where do we source our moral? Okay, where do we source our morals? All right. By the way, there's a difference between moral and moral. Magkaiba sila ng spelling at magkaiba sila kung paano i-pronounce. Okay, lumabas ito sa letra, lumalabas ito sa letra. Ang moral, okay, it's M-O-R-A-L, okay? Or moral is M-O-R-A-L-E. So when I say, what is the moral of the lesson? Anong tamang sagot do? What's the moral or moral of the lesson? Any answer from the group? What is right? What is the moral or what is the moral of the story?
Moral, sir.
Okay, the answer is moral. M-O-R-A-L. It's not moral. Kasi pag sinabi nating moral is like a feeling, okay? It's a mindset, okay? It's a feeling towards something because of, for example, a competition. So when you want to boost the morale, okay, of the person, that's moral. Pero pag moral, yun yung anong lessons ang nakuha mo doon sa story. Okay? So knowing what things we can apply, okay, from the story. Okay, so the word, let's go back now. So princeps, it means a beginning or a source. A principle is that on which something is based, founded, originated, or initiated. So saan ba tayo nakatayo in terms of our morality? Where do we source our idea of what is wrong, of what is good, of what is bad, or what is evil? Okay. So a foundational moral principle is the universal norm upon which all other principles on the rightness or wrongness of an action are based. Okay? It is the source of morality, as I have mentioned. So yun yung source of morality natin. Pero nasaan ba ito? Okay, nasaan ba yung foundational moral principle? Ladies and gentlemen, the foundational moral principle is contained in the natural law. Okay, it's contained in the natural law. In other words, it is, if we answer the question, where is it? Nasaan na ngayon? So sir, sinasabi mo, it's a source of morality. So where is that source? Ladies and gentlemen, the source, okay, or our foundational moral principle is contained in the natural law of man. Sir, ano yung natural law? Let's talk about that. Okay, so there are many definitions about the natural law. One definition is that it is the law that is written in the hearts of man. Okay, it's the law that is written in the hearts of man. No one could actually say what are these things, but as human beings, there are values that are universal among us. That even if we are Chinese, even if we are Japanese, or even if we are Filipino or British, there are certain values. Okay, there are certain values that are universal regardless of what race or ethnicity you have. For example, do we have a common understanding of what love is, of what kindness is, right? So if you are kind, being kind in the Philippines is also being kind in other countries. There are universal values that transcends over time and over place. Okay, so even though no one would actually tell you this is good or bad, you know deeply from your heart that what you are doing is good or bad. For example, you killed someone. No one have said or no one have mentioned that, that's bad. But as nature of man, the nature of man, even if someone did not teach you that this is good and or killing is bad, you feel deeply from your heart that what you have done is actually wrong. Okay, so it is nature by man. It's the nature of man. Okay, so that's what we mean when we talk about what's written in the hearts of man. But how do we specifically identify that? Let's talk about that later. Another definition is it says do good and avoid evil. That's just a natural law. Do good and avoid evil. Okay, and how do we say that it's good or evil? Well, again, that's engraved from the nature of man. So according to Romans 2:15, okay, for theists, it is man's share in the eternal law of God. St. Thomas Aquinas defined it as the light of natural reason, whereby we discern what is good and what is evil, and an imprint on us of the divine light. And it is the law that says do good and avoid evil. Yun yung foundational moral principle. Okay, but it may seem blurry to you. It may seem vague for you for this particular moment, but let me enlighten you on what the foundational moral principle is. Let's talk about that. Saan nga ba siya nanggagaling talaga? Ito lang yun. Okay? Anyway, hindi pa ito. This one. Yan. Okay? So ito lang yung sinasabi nating foundational moral principle. Do not do to others what you do not like others do to you. Huwag mong gawin sa iba ang ayaw mong gawin sa iyo. That's according to Confucius or Kung Fu Tzu. Okay, pag lumabas sa let, Kung Fu Tzu is also Confucius. Okay, so you may confuse yourself there. Pag nabasa niyo yung pangalan ni Kung Fu Tzu, tapos wala sa option pero merong Confucius sa option, that's just the same. Okay, so sabi niya, this is the golden rule. Do not do to others what you do not like others do to you. Okay, huwag mong gawin sa iba huwag mong gawin sa iba ang mga bagay na ayaw gawin sa iyo. That's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, you can discern what's good and you can discern what's bad using what Kung Fu Tzu or Confucius have just said or left us, okay, for the longest time. Okay? But let us go back here now to the foundational moral principle. Another man, whose name is Panizo, said that it is writing, customs, and monuments of past and present generations point out this conclusion that all peoples on earth, no matter how savage, and illiterate, have recognized a supreme law of divine origin commanding good and forbidding evil. Even before the Spanish came into the country, even before the Spaniards started the proliferation of Christianity in the Philippines. By the way, how many years na ang Catholicism sa bansa? 500 years. So we are celebrating our quintesennial anniversary, I think. Quintesennial anniversary. So 500 years na ang Catholicism sa Philippines, and it's all this in Asia, of course. Okay? So, but even before the Spaniards introduced Christianity in our country, we already have that idea of what is good or what is evil. We are never barbaric persons, even though we don't have the same God. We look up into someone supreme above us, okay, higher than us. that is commanding us of what should we do as a human being. Okay, like for example, our mythology, our local mythologies have stories about things that people have done wrong, and then they receive consequences from that supreme being. Okay, if you are able to read our local mythologies, Filipino mythology, the likes of Bakunawa, ano pa ba yung mga gods and goddesses natin? Bakunawa, pag nanood ka ng Bagani, maririnig mo yung mga yan. So yung mga gods and goddesses natin, they have these particular things na pag ginawa mo ito, may consequence siya. Pag ginawa mo to, it's either a good or bad consequence. So meron tayong idea, even before Christianity came, we have that idea of what is good and what is bad. So sabi nga ni Panizo, regardless of who you are, regardless of your level of literacy, or if you are savage or barbaric or what, you still have that idea of what's good and what's evil because you believe on a supreme law, okay, of divine intervention. Mencius mentioned all men have a mind which cannot bear to see the suffering of others. I just don't know from other people who can bear looking at suffering of others. But I think no one can actually have that. No one can be so naive. No one can be so heartless. I think all of us have a particular point, okay, a particular point in our hearts where we can find our weaknesses, okay? So no man can see others suffering. Pero minsan, syempre may mga tao na masaya pag nakikitang nagdudusa ang ibang tao. Pero pag sarili mo ng pamilya ang nakikita mong nagdudusa, that will also weaken you as a person. So even though we say that some people are heartless or naive or, emotionless, may mga pagkakataon pa din na makikita natin silang malungkot at nahihirapan pag nakikita nilang hindi masaya yung mga tao na nasa paligid nila, yung mga taong malapit sa kanila. Okay, so that's foundational moral principle. So yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, ito yung ating natural law. This is our natural law. Do not do to others what you do not like others to you. Do not, so according to the golden rule of Christianity, do to others what you like others do to you. Gawin mo sa ibang tao ang gusto mong gawin din sa iyo. Kasi siyempre, kung sabi nga nila, pagka gumawa ka ng magandang bagay, it will also go back to you. But the Indians believed in the law of karma, good or bad karma. So, pag may ginawa kang mali sa isang tao, babalik din sa iyo yan. Kung may ginawa kang tama o maganda sa ibang tao, may mga bagay din na mangyayari sa iyo maganda. Diba? So Immanuel Kant mentioned, act in such a way that your maxim can be the maxim for all. So this golden rule, okay, this is a natural law. Yung do good, do to others what you want others do to you, can also be reflected in several scriptures or several beliefs of other religions or other school of thought or ideology. Okay, for Christians, meron tayong two great commandments. Okay. We have our love God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay, that can be reflected there. For Buddhists, meron silang tinatawag na eightfold path. Okay, eightfold path, or these are the eightfold path for the Buddhists. No, strive to know the truth. Okay, strive to know the truth. Resolve to resist evil. Say nothing to hurt others. Respect life, morality, and property. Engage in a job that does not injure others. Strive to free their mind of evil. Control their feelings and thoughts, and practice proper forms of concentration. So, according to Buddhism, okay, these are the eightfold path. Okay, kung meron tayong 10 commandments, meron din silang eightfold path. So, dito natin makikita kung anong dapat mong gawin at hindi mo pwedeng gawin. Okay, so yung natural law natin, yung foundational moral principle is reduced into the natural law, which is do good, do to others what you want others do to you, and it is further reduced further to the 10 Commandments for Christians or for Roman Catholics, which can be reduced into two great commandments. Pero for Buddhists, meron silang tinatawag na eightfold path. Okay, so ito yung sinusunod nila. And then for Islam naman, okay, Islam, the Islamic Quran forbids lying, it forbids stealing, adultery, and murder. Okay, it also teaches honor for parents, kindness to slaves, okay, kindness to slaves, protection for the orphan and widowed, and charity to the poor. And it teaches the virtues of faith in God, patience, kindness, patience, not patience, patience, kindness, honesty, industry, honor, courage, and generosity. And it condemns the mistrust and impatience and cruelty. Okay? So, kung merong eightfold path sa Buddhism, meron ding 5 pillars of Islam. Okay? Sino yung nagsusulat sa screen? Okay, so kung meron tayong 10 Commandments sa Christians, so sa Roman Catholics, we have the eightfold path of the Buddhists, and then we have 5 pillars of the Islam. So what are these 5 pillars? They have prayer, self-purification by fasting. Another is fasting, almsgiving, and pilgrimage to Mecca for those who can afford. So at any point in their life, okay, maybe in the latest point in their life, Muslims strive to achieve the following pillars. Okay, yung prayer, they pray 5 times a day, right? They pray 5 times a day. I had an experience when I was in college. Okay, we have a Muslim classmate, and makikita mo siya na nag-pray sa isang vacant room. So naghanap siya ng bakanteng room at maglalatag siya ng ano doon, parang banig, tapos doon siya magpe-pray. So because they are ought to pray 5 times a day. So they also do fasting, okay? They self-purify themselves by fasting. No human intercourse, okay, or sexual intercourse, and no eating during Ramadan. So yun yung fasting nila, okay? Almsgiving, okay? They practice that actually. If you immerse yourself with the Muslim community in Cali Comercio, in Tuguegarao, in Centro Tuguegarao, may Muslim community doon. Every afternoon, yung kanilang imam, kanilang pari, parang pari nila, okay, kanilang imam, may dadala siyang parang bucket, okay? And yung bucket na yon, doon maglalagay yung mga Muslim ng kanilang alms. So every afternoon yan, at nagbibigay talaga sila. So that's one of their pillars kasi, almsgiving. So where does that go? They have projects in their church, okay? Yung pag-sustain din dun sa kanilang leader, and they also have charity work. So they do that for that particular reason. And then pilgrimage to Mecca. So may yan yung ultimate goal naman nila, no, that they can go to Mecca, okay, to pray, okay? Kung tayong mga Kristiyano, we want to go to Israel. For them naman, they want to visit Mecca. But this is only for those who can afford. Okay? For those who can afford. So, ito yung kanilang fina-follow naman. Okay? So, baka ang conception kasi natin, stereotype natin ng mga Muslim ay terorista, mamamatay tao or what, but hindi ganun. We should not classify them as such. Okay? Because sabi nga nila, regardless of what race we have, regardless of what religion we have, we all have that innate goodness within us. Okay? We have that innate goodness within us. So, what is the implication of this lesson to teachers? Right? So, what is the implication? Well, according with, meron tayong tinatawag na code of ethics. Okay? Yung code of ethics na yon, sinasabi niya kung ano ang pwedeng gawin ng isang teacher at anong hindi pwedeng gawin ng isang teacher. What's good for teachers to do and what is not good or what's bad that teachers should not do. Okay? So, yun yung next chapter na pag-uusapan natin. Yun yung next unit natin actually. The legal basis and relevant laws of education. And one of the legal basis and relevant laws that we will be studying is on the code of ethics for teachers. At makikita natin doon, mapag-aaralan natin kung anong-ano nga ba yung pwedeng gawin ni teacher at ano yung hindi niya pwedeng gawin. Pwede ba siya magtinda sa loob ng classroom? Pwede ba siyang magjowa ng estudyante niya or what? So makikita natin sa Code of Ethics yan. So according to the Code of Ethics for professional teachers are defined as this. Okay, basahin natin, no? Teachers are duly licensed professionals who possess dignity and reputation with high moral values, as well as technical and professional competence. In practice of their profession, they strictly adhere to, observe, and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. Okay? So I repeat, okay? They are duly licensed professionals. And not only that you possess the license, but you are expected to have a high reputation and high moral values. And not only that, you have to have also high moral, technical and professional competence. So, ang daming demand sa atin, no? Hindi lang yung magaling ka magturo, professional competence. Hindi lang yung magaling ka sa ituturo mo, technical competence. Pero dapat meron ka ding high moral value. At makikita natin yan sa ating community, di ba? Si teacher, pagka, di ba, pag sasabihin, teacher ka pa naman, marami tayong teacher ka pa naman, di ba? Like, for example, kapag nagdamit ka ng kita yung tuhod mo, masyadong maikli yung skirt mo, ganyan, sasabihin ng community sa'yo, teacher ka pa naman, ganyan ang susuot mo. Or naghiwalay kayo ng asawa mo, o nagkaroon ng controversy about your relationship. Many would say, teacher ka pa naman. So napakaraming mga ganyang bagay. Or yung anak mo, basagulero, o pasaway, o rebelde, o drug addict. So the community would also tell you, teacher ka pa naman. So anong mali doon, right? So we have this, wrong naman talaga yung meron, yung drug addiction. No? Pero, yun yung sinasabi natin nga, na the community has very high expectations towards the teachers. Okay? So, these are good moral characters for teachers that you can consider. Being fully human, being a loving person, being a virtuous person, and being a morally mature person. So as teachers, you have to be fully human. You have to realize substantially your potential as a human person. Okay? You can have this, or you can learn this from Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Meron tayong tinatawag na self-actualization or self-realization. So you can only proceed to that particular level if you were able to successfully satisfy yourselves on the other levels of the hierarchy of needs of Abraham Maslow. Remember that. Okay, yung pag-aaralan nyo to sa curriculum development, yung psychological foundations of curriculum. So pag-aaralan nyo yung hierarchy of needs ni Abraham Maslow. Okay, so yung ating basic needs, love and self-esteem. So you have to satisfy that first before you go to self-actualization. So as teachers, we have to strive to that particular level. Okay? Being a loving person. So you are caring in an unselfish and mature manner with yourself, other people, and God. So you have to be a loving person too. Okay? Unselfish. Okay? You have to be selfless, in short. Huwag mong isipin muna yung sarili mo, isipin mo muna yung ibang tao. Parang gano'n. Okay? Being a virtuous person, you have acquired good habits and attitudes and you practice them consistently in your daily life. So, pag sinabi natin virtuous, you have developed a certain set of beliefs and values and you are acting consistently from that belief system. Hindi yung, kunwari, honest ka ngayon, bukas hindi na. Diba? Sinungaling, loving ka ngayon, bukas hindi na. So, hindi yun virtuous, okay? Hindi yun virtuous person kasi nga you're not acting consistently of your belief systems, okay? At napakahirap ituro ito para sa ating mga estudyante. Okay? Kasi there are many variables or there are many factors that affects the development of our children. Like for example, tinuturo mo sa bata sa eskwelahan na huwag silang magsinungaling. Pero pagdating nila sa bahay, tinuturuan naman sila ng magulang nila indirectly na huwag magsinungaling. Di ba? sabi mo sa school, huwag kayong magsisinungaling ha, dapat laging tama ang sinasabi nyo, laging honest kayo. Pero pagdating sa bahay, pag may kumatok sa pintuan, tapos Bombay pa na yung nasa pintuan, sasabihin ng nanay na, sasabihin ng Bombay na, yung nanay mo, sasabihin niya, pero sinabi ng nanay mo sa'yo na, sabihin mo wala ako. O, diba? So is that telling or being honest? Okay? So, mahirap siyang ituro because there are so many factors that contribute to the development of the child. But as teachers, it's hard also. But as much as possible, we have to try becoming a virtuous person. The fourth one is being morally mature person. So you have to reach a level of development emotionally, socially, mentally, spiritually appropriate to your developmental stage. Hindi na tayo bata. So alam naman natin siguro kung paano mag-behave as our age. Okay? As our age. Okay? May mga teachers kasi na pinapatulan yung mga estudyante nila paggalit. Yung mga pikon, okay? Yung mga it's okay to cry, but as much as possible, wag natin gawin yun. Na pagka na-fed up na tayo sa gulo ng estudyante natin, umiiyak tayo sa harap nila. Don't do that, okay? We have to be a morally mature individual. We have to act on our age, okay? So, you as teachers, you are on the road as teachers, I should say. I cannot say na andun na ako sa point na self-actualize now or that I am a virtuous person. Hindi ko masasabing nasa point ako na ganun pa. I'm still under construction. And so you are, okay? We are all on the road. Andun pa lang tayo sa daan to moral development, okay? When you strive to develop your potential, you love and care for yourself and make this love flow to others. You lead a virtuous life, and as you advance in age, and you also advance in your emotional, social, intellectual, and spiritual life. Okay? So, before we end this particular lesson, before we proceed with values formation, I will leave you with this passage by Harold Kushner, and I don't know who said this, but it's just a very beautiful passage from these authors. Sabi ni Harold Kushner, when you carry out acts of kindness, you get a wonderful feeling inside. It is as though something inside your body responds and says, yes, this is how I ought to feel. I always tell myself, okay, when I am torn between making decisions, kung gagawin ko ba to sa isang tao o hindi, I always think about my peace of mind. Okay? I always believe that nothing can change peace of mind. Nothing is better than peace of mind. Walang makakatalo kung meron kang kapayapaan sa utak mo at kapayapaan sa puso mo. So when you are torn in making decisions, think about what will induce peace in your heart and in your mind. Yun ang gagawin. Halimbawa, may mga colleagues ako na, syempre, may mga tao tayong gusto at hindi gusto, tama? Diba? Pag may mga nasa organization tayo, pag nasa office tayo, may mga co-worker tayo, may mga colleagues tayo na ayaw natin, may mga colleagues tayo na gusto din natin. So someone from my workplace asked a favor to me, kung pwede ko bang i-share daw ito sa kanya. Pero that person, I quite don't like that person. Pero pag di ko binigay, sasabihin niya naman sa akin, madamot ka, mga bagay. Pero pag binigay ko, syempre, wala akong iisiping ano ba yung ginawa ko? Okay, tama ba yung ginawa ko or what? Dapat binigay ko pala sa kanya para hindi niya na ako sabihan na madamot or what. So I always think about my peace of mind. So I just give it. Okay, pinahiram ko. Okay, kasi nga, para wala akong isipin sa sarili ko. So para meron akong makatulog ako na mahimbing sa gabi. Things like those. Okay? So, yun naman ang aking filosofiya sa buhay. Hindi naman to, I am not imposing it to you because I know that you have your own sets of beliefs and values. So, but again, yun nga ang lagi ko lang sinasabi sa sarili ko is that peace of mind ang lagi kong uunahin. Okay? Sabi dito, even on your worst day on the job, you are still some children's best hope. No one is perfect. Lahat tayo nagkakamali. Pero at certain point, may mga bata na tinitingala pa rin tayo despite our mistakes. Sabi nga nila, failure is not the opposite of success. Diba? Failure is not the opposite of success. It is in failure that we learn a lot of lessons, and that becomes our stepping point towards success, right? So if we fail, if we commit mistakes, it does not mean that we are a failure. We look at that constructively and move on, okay, towards success. And because of that, okay, because of morality, because of that, the things that we have mentioned, we have been mentioning about, we have to always think that a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. Tama yan. Hindi mo talaga masasabi kung kailan nagtatapos ang influence si teacher. Hanggang ngayon, kahit kayo naman, kaya aalala nyo pa yung mga nakita nyo, natutunan nyo sa mga teachers nyo ng elementary o kaya ng high school. Okay? Alam nyo yan. Okay? At alam nyo kung ano yung, not only yung mga content, yung knowledge per se, but about values and attitudes. Mas naaalala mo pa yung ginawa ni teacher, yung impact niya sa'yo. Okay? So hanggang ngayon, you live by that standard. You live by that teaching of your teacher. And you'll never know when that stops kasi yung natutunan mo from your teacher, pwede mong ituro yan sa mga anak mo. So yun din yung matututunan ng mga anak mo. At yung mga anak mo pag nagkaanak, ganun din yung ituturo. So napakahaba, napaka-eternal. Actually, eternal yan. Hindi mo nga alam kung kailan mag-e-end yan because generation comes after another generation. So it never stops. Okay, so that's why you have to be very careful about our actions, our behavior to our students because we affect them whether we like it or not. Okay, so that is our lesson on foundational moral principle. Okay? And I hope that you guys were able to be enlightened with the topic, especially in this particular lesson. And we shall proceed now